Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to continue the series talking about good moral character and naturalizations. Specifically today we're going to talk about the conditional bars to good moral character when it comes to applying for naturalization. Before I dive into this topic, if you have any questions, please drop a comment below. Otherwise, if you want to set up a consultation with us, please visit us at carboneattorneys.com. We have a button in the top right corner of our website. Click it, fill it out, send it over, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, good moral character. So in this series, I wanted to touch on the different elements of good moral character when it comes to applying for naturalizations. In my last video, I talked about the absolute bars to good moral character. What this means is that if you have certain convictions or you've committed certain offenses and they're on your record, you cannot show good moral character. You are barred from showing good moral character. Now today we're talking about conditional bars to good moral character. So the major difference here is that these are not absolute. Although they can cause potential issues and prevent you from showing good moral character, they are not absolute bars, meaning if you have certain of these offenses on your record, you may be able to overcome them. So they're not a total barrier to showing good moral character. Now, for some of these offenses, and I will go through some of them, the list is quite long, you may be able to overcome any issues just by lapse in time. So when it comes to looking at good moral character, USCIS will look at the period prior to your filing, right? So if we're looking at the standard eligibility track, this is a 5-year period. Or if you're married to a US citizen, the look back is 3 years prior to your filing. So sometimes someone will come in and say, hey, I have this conviction on my record. Is this going to be an issue for my naturalization application? We'll look it over, we'll do some research, and we'll make a determination. And sometimes the solution might be, I think you need to wait 5 years so that falls off. Now, again, part of the naturalization process has a component of discretion. And this means that the USCIS officer can, in their discretion, still deny your application. So your offense might not be within the statutory period, the 5 or the 3 years, but they can say, you know what, I don't think you can show good moral character, and deny your application. So sometimes time can cure, but not always. Time is not always an easy solution, depending on the conviction that you have on your record. The other thing to consider here is that some of the offenses on this list that I'm gonna go through when it comes to conditional bars have larger consequences. So you could have an offense and maybe you can overcome it from a good moral character perspective, but this offense might also make you deportable, which not good, right? You don't want to lose your permanent resident status, and this would be considered a larger consequence. And in that situation, it might not make sense to file to naturalize. So let's go through some of these offenses when it comes to conditional bars. So the first one is having 2 or more crimes involving moral turpitude on your record. Now, I've covered what we call CIMTs in a prior video, so check that one out. But if you have 2 or more, this is a conditional bar. There's a good chance your naturalization application is not going to get approved. And again, this also is one of those larger consequences, meaning this is considered a deportable offense and you have bigger issues to deal with. Next is a conviction of 2 or more offenses that resulted in an aggregate sentence of 5 years or more in prison. So you could have 10 different offenses on your record, 20 different offenses for that matter, and if any of them or all of them resulted in jail time, and the aggregate, meaning adding all of that jail time up, equal to 5 years or greater, you're looking at a conditional bar, meaning you will not be able to naturalize. Next on the list are controlled substance offenses. This is possessing, trafficking, anything related to drugs, drug paraphernalia, etc., with the exception of simple possession of marijuana of 30 grams or less. So there's a carve out there for that. So some of the other offenses on this list include polygamy, prostitution. So that includes the act of prostitution as well as solicitation, attempt, anything that would be grouped into the offense of prostitution. Now, one last thing I want to cover on this list, and this list is not exhaustive, so there could be other offenses that constitute a conditional bar. But this last one is if you are considered to be a habitual drunkard. So what does that mean? So this would come out in other records. So it could be multiple DWI convictions. It could show up in, divorce hearing transcripts. If you were fired from a job for being an alcoholic, anything in the public record that would show that you have troubles with alcohol. Now, this one I would say would definitely fit into that category of, time, right? Waiting some time, as well as rehabilitation. So if you take, rehabilitation courses, you go to something like AA, you've completely rehabilitated yourself, you're no longer drinking, you're sober, and you've given back to the community in a way that, rehabilitates your character, your conduct, and so forth. So if you're dealing with a situation like that and you engage in acts to better your condition, better your character, better the people around you, this conditional bar may not hold as much weight as it does with the other offenses. So that's it. These are some of the offenses that are considered conditional bars to showing good moral character when it comes to applying for naturalization and becoming a US citizen. So that's it. That's the video. If you like it, if you want to see more, please like, double tap, subscribe, and I'll keep making them.